I think about this story that you told me about Phil Esposito's story that he told everybody when they first started playing hockey in Tampa Bay, because Jake Guentzel had a hat trick against the New Jersey Devils. And, of course, the Lightning kind of cruised to a victory there over a pretty good hockey team.
New Jersey's the top team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
so.
well, very good then. I mean, I can up adjective you if you want me to. That's
Okay.
easy. That costs nothing. Exceptional. But you got to tell the story again, because not everybody listens to the podcast every day or ever. Maybe it's their first time. But when there's a hat trick, right? It's called
it's the first game at the Expo Hall. It's 1992.
Yeah.
And so Phil meets with the staff before the game.
Mm-hmm.
He tells security, anybody throws anything on the ice, you throw them out of the game.
And this is Florida. Nobody knows hocky.
Well, because in his day, sometimes people would throw a dime or a penny on the ice, and when your skate would hit that, it can really hurt you. So it's the opening night. The Lightning are not going to be that great of a team that year. Well, Chris Kontos goes out and gets 4 goals, not 3, but 4.
4 goals. I mean, jeez.
But when he gets the third goal, Phil will tell you one hat went on the ice. I'm sure it was probably a couple, but it wasn't many because most people don't know this. So the security guy goes and finds a guy and starts throwing him out. And Phil comes down. What are you doing? The guy says, "You said if anyone throws anything on the ice to throw them out." He goes, "He had a hat trick."
What's that?
And the usher goes, "What's a hat trick?"
I laugh at that story every time because it's funny every time. It just it just shows you we were really newbies.
Well, that's what Phil said. He goes, "I knew right then that we had a lot of education,
a lot of work to do." Yeah, the old fairgrounds, right? That's where they were at start.
Yep. Yeah, Expo Hall there.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So there were some hats, I would think, on the ice after that, right?
Yes, there were. Yeah, they had to stop play for a little bit, but yeah, Jake Guentzel gets a hat trick, his 8th career hat trick, 3rd for the Lightning.
Man, he's good at hockey, huh?
Yeah, just got his 100th point for the Lightning in 99 games, so he's more than a point a game guy for them.
Wow. Their power play came alive. Finally,
2 for 3.
Yeah, they had been 0 for their previous 10, I think.
I think it was 0 for 9 coming in, and their first one they didn't score.
Right. So that's a good thing.
It was very good. Cooch was smiling. He had a goal as well.
That's breaking news as well.
It is.
I was watching them a little bit on the power play. They moved the puck around pretty well.
They did. They're not shooting enough still.
No.
But they were moving it a lot.
They're controlling it, though, in their zone, which is a good start.
Yeah. And they're winning some faceoffs in their zone. I mean, faceoffs are still an issue for this team.
Are they? Yeah.
And neutral zone faceoffs, okay, but the special teams faceoffs are very important. And they're struggling there still. But
what's special about it is they're missing a lot of players still.
Well, that's the other thing. So they beat New Jersey, who can score a lot. Now, New Jersey was banged up too, but the Lightning were missing their top 3 defensemen: Hedman, McDonough, Chernak.
Top 3. I mean, geez, man.
And 4 of their top 6. Yeah, 4 of their top 6 because Crozier was out too.
Wow.
So they were missing 4 of their starting 6 defensemen. So they called up Santini and Carlisle. They were playing, and they played well. They're still Anthony Cirelli and Dominic James came back, but they're still missing Pontus Holmberg, and Nick Paul's not back yet either.
Jeez, that's a lot.
Yeah, they're banged up, but yet, their last 4 games, they're 2-2, but they're bad. They probably should be 3. They should have won Sunday night, but
yeah,
against Vancouver, that was a bad loss. But
that was the one they got up 2-0 and then gave up a bunch of goals.
Yep. Yeah. But so then. Tuesday night they're up 3-1 going to the third, and instead of giving up the goals, they score 2 goals.
Yeah,
and win at 5-1. So a nice win. Now they have Edmonton coming to town Thursday night.
Man, it almost makes me want to go back there but when I do, I've only been in one game, and it was like the second game, which was one of the worst games they played.
It was against New Jersey, who they played tonight.
It was New Jersey. You're right. And they weren't really in it. It was 3-2 for a while, and they just got blasted after that.
Yep.
Well, that's good. And we don't know the reason, but John Cooper had a personal reason. He was not at the game.
They were also short a coach tonight. So John Cooper missed the game for personal reasons.
Yeah. Well, our thoughts are with him. Whatever they're going through right now, it had to be something pretty serious because he would not miss games, and so you hope that that can get resolved, whatever it is. But they've kind of settled out. You know what I mean? Like settled up. Kind of a shaky start. When it was 0-2, a couple games on at home. Then they started playing better on the road. But with all the injuries, they're kind of win one, lose one right now, which is okay. You know.
So yeah, I mean, they started the 1-4-2,
right?
And, now they're what 10-7-2, I believe.
Yeah.
So actually Thursday night will be game 20, which means they're a quarter of the way through the season.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that'll be game 20. So now you're kind of seeing where teams are. They're kind of right at the playoff cut line. The Eastern Conference is very compressed standings wise. There's been so many overtime games, so a lot of teams getting 1 point out of games.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy how condensed the standings are. Like, one win and you jump 3 spots, and one loss and you fall 3 spots. I mean, there's everyone's so tight there, but yeah, they're settling in. They're hopefully Nick Paul's back soon. Eric Chernek's day to day. Don't know about Holmberg and McDonough when they're expected back. Hedman's listed as day to day too. Although those guys have missed 4 games now. But as they start to get guys back, but they're kind of settling in, and they're playing a lot better than they did. I mean, the first 7 games of the season was not lightning hockey at all. You didn't like the loss against Vancouver Sunday when they gave up the goals late and that, but overall they're playing a lot better. And they're a talented team, and they're a deeper team. And it's showing by the guys they keep calling up and how they're playing. They're playing well.
Yeah, and I think you have to have a certain amount of youth. I don't care what sport you're talking about.
And they're doing all this with Braden Point not being Braden Point.
Right.
Like, he's just lost out there, it seems like. And worse than anything is not that he's not scoring, but his plus minus is a -12 going into Tuesday night's game. I didn't see what it is now, but like that means they're giving up a lot. When he's on the ice, you're giving up a lot of goals.
You don't think there's anything physically that he's playing through? We don't know, really.
We don't know. I mean, that's kind of the first thing you think of because he doesn't look like Braden Point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So, but they're doing, they're playing a lot better and moving up the standings with him not being what we're used to seeing.
Right.
So if he can get back to that, which I think will help Cooch get back to being Cooch.
Yeah.
But we're only a quarter of the way through the season.
Yeah, like you said, it's one quarter, and it's kind of like in the NFL. I don't know if this is true in hockey, but like it really is true, and it maybe more true now with no training camps, or really no preseason games. You have training camp, but they don't put on pads. The NFL anymore, I mean, you got to go at least the first month. That is, now become more like training camp in some instances. But and Tom Brady used to say this. And Tom Brady said a lot of things that I found out to be true, and that is that you just got to kind of hang in there. And not fall too far behind as you're getting better as a team.
Yep.
But the season really doesn't start till Thanksgiving, and sometimes after. But everybody's going to be around 500 unless they're a really bad team or a really great team. And the second half of the season, when you start playing all your division games, is really going to tell the tale anyway. So that's kind of where the Bucs are. I think. I don't think we really know what they are because of the injuries. They jumped out, 5-1, and they were everybody's darling, and Baker was everybody's MVP and all that. And it was a cute little story. And then they started playing better teams, and they had a few more injuries, and then the defense started giving up big plays. And then all of a sudden, by Sunday night at 11 o'clock Eastern, they could be in second place in the NFC South. Like, it happened. Life comes at you fast, right? But even having said that, if you look at the schedule, and you can't assume things, and John Romano wrote a column about this a little bit, but their real hope these last few years has been really one reason, and that is the NFC South sucks. It just sucks, right? Like, no one's good. Carolina's getting better, okay? They are getting better, but they're still fully capable of losing to anyone. Atlanta now just lost Michael Penix Jr. I feel for the kid because he's got a knee injury and he's already had, 2 ACLs or something like that.
Yeah, if it's an ACL, it's his third.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And so now all of a sudden you start thinking about Atlanta, where they are in the standings. They may be drafting a quarterback. So Kurt B. Cousins Jr. the third will be coming in here playing for them, and he's an old man and plays like it. And then, New Orleans is at least a year or 3 away from being really a contender. Not saying any of these teams can't beat you, because they can. That's just the way divisions are. But the reason why the Bucs continue to make these runs is because, the NFL backloads division games, and the NFC South is terrible. It really is terrible. And they're the best of, the terrible teams. And I'm not saying they couldn't compete in another division, but it'd be a hell of a lot harder in the North.
Sure.
Right?
But the Patriots spent 20 years ruling a awful AFC East.
They did.
I mean, no, I'm not necessarily comparing this Bucs team to some of those Patriots teams, but
yeah.
But the AFC East was awful for 2 decades.
It was. And yet when the Patriots, got these home fields, which is everything in the playoffs, they did take advantage of them for the most part.
Absolutely.
Of course, they did go a decade. People think about Tom Brady and the 6 Super Bowls in New England, but he went a decade without being in any.
No, it wasn't being.
Or without winning. I'm sorry, without winning.
Yeah,
he lost twice to the Giants and once to Philly. That was it.
Yeah.
But there were 3 of them. But that's 10 years between victories.
Yep.
Which is a long time. Of course, they kept going, which is big. But
well, I mean, that's where his career was just crazy, because you could separate it into 3 different parts.
Well, he had 3 careers, yeah.
His 20s, 30s, and 40s, and all of them are Hall of Fame careers.
I know.
And all of them have like 3 to 4 Super Bowls that he was in.
You should get like 3 busts, 2000s Brady, 2010s Brady.
Yeah, it's just insane.
I know. It really is. I mean, his success was stupid. I want to get into a little bit of Todd Bowles' coaching decision the other made, and Greg Allman had a bunch of good stats. I'm going to spit at you here in a minute and see what you think. But hey, first, it's the Christmas season. Just dawned on me while I was staring at new decorations that I want to put out, and yes, I don't think it's too early. The first house on my block had one of these companies come by and put up all their lights, which I'm tempted to actually sign a contract for something like that, because I hate putting stuff up outside. Nonetheless, it's Christmas time, and what that means is you're going to be looking for gifts, and that means is you're going to be going to the mall, and that means you got to go to International Plaza, and you got to go to Breitling Boutique. Folks, if you have a husband or a wife that would love a once-in-a-lifetime beautiful timepiece, it's the Breitling Company. They've been in business now for 140 years, making the best Swiss watches anywhere in the world. Breitling Boutique has been in National Plaza for going on 6 years now, and they do have great men's watches, the chronomats that they're known for, the Navatimers. Women's watches are sports watches. They're durable. They're absolutely beautiful, and they got a whole array of wristbands that your wife or girlfriend can choose from. But what's cool about our listeners is that if you're a sports fan, or in particular an NFL fan, Breitling Boutique is offering, while supplies last, there are 32 different teams in the NFL. That means they have 32 different chronomat watches. These watches have the team colors as the face of the watch, the logos inside. Unbelievably beautiful, and just really a collector's item for sure. It's Breitling Boutique. They're in International Plaza Mall. When you go, please let them know that you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. All right, I don't know that I probably mentioned this before, but I'm going to cut into him a little bit more just because he probably deserves it. The other day, I guess, when I was working up there in beautiful Buffalo, and took me a long time to get home. The Bucs are in a shootout with the Bills, which resembled a little bit of the game they had in Seattle, to be honest with you, right? Neither defense could stop the other one, sort of thing. And so it was coming down to the wire, and the Bills had a 4-point lead. Now, they had scored on 3 straight possessions, scored touchdowns, okay, including like an 83-yard drive. It wasn't just the short fields that they were taking advantage of. They were basically doing what they wanted to. So the Bucs are down by 4, and I'm sorry, by 5, down 5 points in the fourth quarter. It's 4th and 2. Okay, there's about 7+ minutes left, I think, right around in there. I mean, they're going to get another possession, maybe two, just depends. But at their own 39, down by 5, and Bowles decides to punt the ball. Now, first and foremost, he doesn't go for it much on 4th down, right? And especially on 4th and 2, because it's one thing to be 4th and 1, but 4th and 2, he was 1 for 1 last year, 0 for 2 the year before. One of those was a fake punt down 17 points to the Broncos. So start with the fact that, he's risk averse. Like Todd Bowles is that guy. He's risk averse. However, NFL teams have gone for it on 4th and 2 84 times this season. Okay. And they've gotten first downs on 64% of those. 13 of 16 rushing, 41 of 68 passing. And the Bucs, in all the years that Bowles has been a head coach, this is his 4th year, they're even over 50%. They're 7 of 13 going for it on 4th and 2, right? So you're over 50% on 4th and 2. Now, what Bowles said was, well, we talked about it, and if it was 4th or 1 or less, we were going to go, but 4th and 2 or a point more, we were going to kick. Buddy, I'm here to tell you, man, read the room. Like even if you punt him deep, they just went 83 yards. Okay, the common denominator is that they're going up and down the field at will with touchdowns. I mean, Josh Allen scored 6 of them, for God's sakes. So if you're down 4 and you might have one other possession after this one, and it's not just hindsight; it's just the numbers tell you that, right? And I think you need to coach from your gut sometimes, but it's a good tool to let you know that the odds are definitely in your favor if you execute this. But what other chance do you have if you can't stop a team? What good does it do punting them deep? So, but to me, defensive coaches always have more faith in their defense than their offense because they don't call the offense. And that's been the case. But Todd Bowles is now sort of getting in that Tony Dungy range where really good coach, wins a lot of games, wins the division, never going to take you to a Super Bowl, right? Like, and I think there's just an assumption because it's happened the last 3 years. And listen, that's what people are saying. I think Todd's capable of winning a Super Bowl with these guys. That's just me. But I understand the sentiment. But the last 3 years, when the NFC South has been similarly bad, they won it, going 8 wins, 9 wins, and then 10 wins. And they, won, what, six out of 7 or so to finish the season last year. They're in their midseason swoon, which Bowles will tell you is not related to the previous year. I'm here to tell you it's a pattern. And, if what I think is going to happen Sunday night, they may not be in first place. I think there's an assumption maybe on the Bucs fans' parts and maybe a little bit of hubris in the organization that, hey, just hang in there, right? If we hang in there, we got 3 games at home, Cardinals, Saints, Atlanta, we'll be fine, right? Like that, we only have to win 4 or 5 more games and we're going to win the division, as long as one of those is against Carolina. 2 weeks in the last 3, they played Carolina. But I don't know, man, like, what if they don't win it all? Like, what if this collapse doesn't have a turnaround like it's had in the past? Now, what are you saying about everything, right? Don't you have to evaluate everything at that point? I mean, that's the league it is. It's a week-to-week league. But I think the lack of aggressiveness in certain games,
we've talked about this for years. I mean, last year, the overtime and playing for overtime in Kansas City and
Cleveland the year before, and
yeah. I mean,
2 years before that.
He's going to trust the defense and not. He's going to be conservative. That's what
he's risk averse. He's totally risk averse. Yeah, not aggressive in the decisions to whether to go for it or not. And look, Todd is 61, 62 years old. He played in the league at a time when the mentality was, hey, just extend the game, right? Keep the game going. Keep yourself within striking distance. 1 score. That's what we need. 1 score. But I'm here to tell you, the Dan Campbells, the Kevin O'Connells, those are the guys that have been winning. Kyle Shanahan's, they're not hesitating to go for it on 4th down.
What's funny with Todd is that his mentor and the guy he coached under for years was the no risk it, no biscuit philosophy.
Exactly. And he won a Super Bowl. I mean, he put a ring on his finger doing that. Old dog, new tricks. I don't think he's going to suddenly change and start going for it on fourth down, but maybe he should, especially when your defense isn't any good, especially when if you kick off, look,
no, but
they could have scored, and if they kicked off, they're giving them the ball back near the 50 anyway.
But isn't that part of the risk-averse part? My defense isn't very good. I need the longer field. I don't need a shorter field.
Sure. It's not confidence in his defense. It's the opposite of confidence. Mm-hmm. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have confidence in your defense, even if you don't make it, you say, we'll hold them to a field goal, and it's still a one-score game, right? Still a one-score game with a two-point conversion.
Yep.
But clearly there are problems, and the problems are on defense, special teams, yes. I went back and watched like that one long pass that Josh had, and it looked like Yaya Diaby's chasing the guy through the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Odd Bowles would say, because he didn't call guys out, but all he would say is that, well, we had some guys, in the right coverage, but they started wandering back there.
Well, but Yaya Diaby doesn't know what he's doing back there.
Well, it's not Yaya's guy, right? Yaya is just out to cover the right flat. Yaya chased the guy when he realized no one was covering him. The guy who was wandering, no surprise, was Benjamin Morrison again. Because one of the things that happened in that game that hurt them on defense and hurt them bad was Jamel Dean colliding, I think, with Tyke Smith or somebody and getting like a hip injury.
Yep.
And he didn't come back. And this has been basically Jamel Dean for as long as he's played in the league. But that was a devastating injury for them, And so Benjamin Morrison goes in, and what do teams do? They go after him. Mm-hmm. And Josh Allen did what he does. He extended plays. So you got to plaster the receivers a little bit longer, but he wasn't plastering anybody, man. He started jumping stuff inside, abandoned his cover 2 post or whatever they were playing or quarters. And, there was nobody in that deep sideline. The guy just went up the field and, had to just run past Yaya Diaby, which was no problem. And it was a touchdown. Like, you can't make mistakes like that. And we've seen Benjamin Morrison now 2 weeks in a row do just that. At least this time they didn't have much choice because, Dean was out. But, I mean, the secondary is just, before it was the inside linebackers. Now it's the inside linebackers and the secondary. And then, and John wrote about this in the Times, is that they have zero pass rush, like as in zero. They got some sacks, but, when you're talking about the 4-down linemen or anything like that, they're just not getting there. And Reddick, while he's, been out, you can't blame him necessarily for being hurt. But before he got hurt, he only had 1.5 sacks all season.
But he helped Yaya Diaby get more.
He made him a better player, no question. He made everybody better when he's playing.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get him back, but
he wasn't making the impact you had hoped he was. Well, he's not making the impact that I'm assuming Jason Light hoped he would when that was really the only thing you added to the pass rush, which was non-existent last year.
Yeah, and you paid him $14 million, and you said, go out there and get me 10 sacks, and it doesn't look like he's going to do it, sitting at 1.5 and being injured.
Right.
Did he help the other guys? Yeah, of course he did. Yes. You got to pay attention. He's a game wrecker, but he hasn't wrecked any games for him yet. And now he's hurt. And like I said, older players don't get more healthy and more productive. They just don't. So, I mean, they got a lot of work to do in a short time against a really good football team with the Rams. This is the place where Baker Mayfield's career was reinvigorated, right? Back in 2022, and he got picked up by them and went in there 2 nights before a Thursday night game and ended up not starting, but ended up playing and taking him on a 90-something yard drive for a touchdown. And joy was rediscovered with Baker, and his coordinator, at that time was Liam Cohen out there, and the rest is history. But we'll be talking about some of that history. Speaking of Baker Mayfield, congratulations to Baker and Emily. They're going to welcome their second child into the world in April, and it is, drum roll please, a boy. They're going to have a girl and now a little boy, little Baker in the oven. Can't imagine.
Hopefully Emily's letting them bake.
Bake it slowly, about 9 months worth. But I'll say this, when the kid comes out, he's going to have energy, man. Better pad the walls. The kid's going to have a lot of energy. Their daughter is absolutely stunningly beautiful, by the way. No surprise. She's a really, really cute kid. And on Instagram, they posted her holding the sonogram pictures. It's just so well done. But yeah, Baker's now going to be a 2-time dad. So, he just needs to maybe get a couple of Super Bowl rings for each one of them. That would be a nice gesture if he could do that. It's stunning to me sometimes how quickly the NFL turns around, though, right? Like, and we say this every year, like some teams are frauds. I don't think the Bucs are frauds. I just think they're beat up. But every year there's teams that jump out like the quick, horse in the Kentucky Derby, and he ends up losing by 40 lengths. But they jump out and then they hit the midseason. And it's almost like you got some young players. It's a young team every year. They got a lot of college guys, and they're exhausted. It's like, hey, man, we're only halfway through the year. But they have this swoon in the middle of the season. Some of it's schedule, that sort of thing. But it's somewhat inexplicable. And yet, Bowles is the guy that takes them out of it. Let's see if he can do it this time, because I would be, when they had these 3 games, we talked about it. The best chance they had to win was the Patriots, right? The next best chance they had to win, I'm sorry, not the Patriots, was the home game against, who am I thinking of?
Was the Patriots.
Yeah, it was the Patriots. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Drake May. To me, that was and they damn near did it. They got the interception, and they had the 4th and 2 and all that. And so that was the best chance. And the second best chance would have been at Buffalo. The one that I had them not winning at all, is this Sunday night against the Rams.
Well, this is the NFL, so that's probably the one they'll win.
That'll be the one they'll destroy the Rams. They'll be going, holy cow, I had the Rams as the best team in the NFC. The Bucs aren't dead yet. Don't write them off. Don't you write them off. They're going to win the division. And so, anything is possible, I guess, but tough opponent and even, tougher circumstances. I don't know that, they're going to have Bucky Irving back. I don't know that it matters either, by the way. Don't know if they're going to have Chris Godwin. If those guys, in the NFL, unlike
it should matter if Bucky's back, since Sean Tucker is posting pictures and getting hate on socials.
Yeah. Can I just say, first of all, social media is a bit of a cesspool anyway. Bucs social media is one of the worst neighborhoods in the world. I mean, it's unpaved, littered with glass, bad people on every corner. Like, there's just not, it's the mean streets of Buck Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. So Sean Tucker, it's not too late, folks. It's after a Lightning game. Sean Tucker, gets to play and he's had a chance to play really ever since Bucky's been out. But they've been going with him and White kind of platooning, but White getting the majority of the work. So Tucker comes out and he has a huge game, right? Huge. Over 100 yards rushing, three touchdowns, including 1 receiving, running away from people, escorted by Tristan Wirfs, who's almost as fast as he is. Actually, he's faster. Sean Tucker is. But you have this game, and once again, you go, wow, hey, they should play this guy more. He's really kind of good. And the response comes, yeah, we went with a hot hand. Huh? Like, the hot hand in what? In the game, in practice? Like, and truly, like, Rachaad White also gained 5 yards of carry. I mean, the Bills can't tackle. They stink. They stink against the run. They're terrible. They're one of the worst teams in the league. So there's that. But we've been calling, for Sean Tucker to play more, certainly with Bucky out, and it just really hasn't materialized. It hasn't happened. But man, when they give him the ball and get out of the way, you got explosive runs, which is what's been lacking. And for the life of me, I don't know, even last year, as good as Bucky was, and he had 1,122 yards and 8 touchdowns. He was fantastic from start to finish, averaged over 5 yards a carry. He did not really start. He had the one game in New Orleans when Rachaad was out, but he did not really start until the final 2 weeks of the regular season. It took them that long with Bucky Irving to play him as the starter. So Sean Tucker's got no chance, I suppose. But it's a little bit of that stubbornness, like that inflexibility, going with a hot hand. Well, if a guy's career is 5 yards a carry or damn near, doesn't he have a career hot hand? versus the other guy who's under 4, I don't know. Don't overthink it, but you can also play them both at the same time, which they did a couple times on Sunday. So, I think Sean Tucker he'd be to me, and he has the thing that Rashad can run, but he can't run a 4-3. Like he has this element that you can't really teach, and I'd be damned if coming off of this game, they didn't when he had the big game at New Orleans. They did not start him the next week because Rashad was healthy and he was back in the lineup. And I don't know what's going to happen this week. We'll see. I don't suspect much, but if Bucky doesn't play, does that mean you give more carries to Sean Tucker, or how many carries does he have to have that are the hot tells you that he has a hot hand before you keep feeding this guy? I would go into it assuming he has a hot hand because he has the faster legs and he knows how to run and he is very productive in his career, right? Not saying that there's not a role for Rashad, but man, I don't want to be so smart that I don't play the guys that are productive. I don't. And I know Rashad ran well too. He had over 5 yards of carry. He did. But Tucker just seems to give them a little bit more explosiveness. So. And finally, before we get out of here, I only covered a couple games last year, but I swear to you, I saw Christopher Morel strike out 6 times at least. And he has now been, DFA'd?
Yeah, the Rays needing to create roster space on the 40-man as they have to protect some of the minor league guys from the Rule 5 draft.
Right.
So they've DFA'd Forrest Whitley, Jake Fraley, Christopher Morel. They traded Eric Orsi for a minor league guy. A lot of the teams all around baseball were doing this. So either DFAing players or trading players. You're basically trying to create roster spaces so you can protect the other guys. So this happens every offseason. But yes, Christopher Morel, you no longer have to watch his at-bats.
Not that it's surprising you would do that, but like during the season, they're less likely to. It's just weird to me. It's like I didn't have much. I guess if they got to pay him, they figure we might as well keep the player. But
if you remember when they traded for him, they traded Isaac Paredes.
Yeah,
and I think they sent a pitcher as well. They got Christopher Morel and Hunter Biggie back.
Yeah,
but they had said they had been trying to get Morel for a year or two. Like they really liked him.
Well, they thought he was going to hit with power, right?
Yeah, I mean, they thought it was kind of a similar guy to Isaac, but younger and more team control. Mm-hmm. And that was their hope. Now, turns out he didn't perform that well, but they had liked him for a while and had tried to get him previously. So it's sometimes it's that. If you thought that highly of him and you were trying for years to get him, you're like, he's going to snap out of it. He's going to, you're just confident in that, I think. But plus they also don't like to, give up assets and lose it for nothing if they don't have to. Now they need the roster space, so they kind of have to at this point. And look, you traded Eric Orsi. That means you probably tried to trade Morel. Nobody wanted him, so
sure
you had to DFA him.
It feels like they're maybe going to, change their outfield a little bit too, potentially. I don't know.
Well, we've talked about it. I mean, your infield is fairly set.
Mm-hmm.
Although there was a report today that they're listening to offers for Brendan Lau, which to me isn't really a report because I think the Rays listen to offers on everybody and have forever.
They better be.
When you're a small market team and you generally trade guys once they get good, you'll listen to offers. It doesn't mean you'll accept it. Doesn't mean you'll consider it seriously, depending on what the offer is. But, so the infield is, you've got Aranda at first, Lau at second, Caminero at third, Yandy's your DH.
And you got Walls who can play anywhere if you need him.
I don't think Carson Williams is the answer at short yet. Although he'll probably get a shot in spring training, but seeing how much he struck out in that, I don't know if he's ready yet for that.
He might have to start in Durham, and then see if he comes up.
So whether it's Walls or you could try to find another player like Hassan Kim or, to sign for that. Catching, you got to figure that out. They keep trying everything. They haven't figured that out.
They talk like they like the 2 young guys at the end of the year, but neither one could hit.
But your outfield, I mean, Cameron Meisner's already gone. Jake Mangum and Chandler Simpson are essentially the same guy.
Right.
In style and whatever else. Josh
Lowe
has
been
had
up
one
and
good
down.
season, and you keep waiting for him to keep breaking out, and he doesn't.
Right.
You don't know what you have in DeLuca and Palacios because they're hurt. But this is a team now for 2 straight years has had a losing record. They need more offense. If your infield's basically set, then it's the outfield is where you got to upgrade.
So they make a trade, you think? And what do they give up for compensation? More pitching?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on who you're trading for.
Yeah.
I mean, do I expect a big splash trade for a superstar? No. To be some. I guess I don't know what they're going to do, but
yeah,
they typically whatever free agent signing is not going to be till spring training because the big guys go first, and that takes a while.
Now I'm curious if we saw a guy like Brandon Lau get dealt, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing he makes pretty good money here at this point.
Well, 11 or 12 this year is what his option was, something like that.
Yeah, I mean it's not 50 million, but it's up there for them.
Yeah.
If he gets dealt, then you'd have to see what they're dealing him for. Clearly, pitching or frontline guys or back, bullpen. Like I don't know. But could you? It's so subjective. Could you begin to say, wonder if these new owners are just like, trying to save money where they can? In other words, if we can sell high a player, for that's going to make $11 million, maybe we should do that with all the expenses we're going to incur with the new stadium, with everything else.
I guess the question is though, if you trade Brendan Lau and you save that 11, do you go spend it on a free agent outfielder now?
That I don't know. I wonder if they would spend it at all.
Yeah, well, I mean that, and I think I don't think anyone knows the answer to that.
Yeah,
I mean the Rays are basically the way they always operate is they have a value on every player, and if you offer something more than what they think the value is, they'll probably make that move.
And I think everybody except Junior Caminero would be available. If I'm the Rays.
Yeah, I mean, I think
for the right price. I mean,
well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Caminero because he's got so many years of team control,
exactly,
and just had 40 whatever it was home runs,
freaking superstar. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, at age 21 season,
yeah.
Like could you get him from the Rays? Sure. Is any team ever going to offer that much? No,
no. Be a hell of a package, though.
If I got Junior Caminero and you want to trade, okay, give me Paul Skeens.
Exactly,
because I want a player that's got team control and
phenom with team control. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's anyone untouchable in the race except Caminero. And like I said, could you get him? Yes, but no team's going to offer that much. But yeah, anyone else?
The New York Yankees, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yeah, I don't know.
No, now 2 or 3 years from now, yes, they might be trading for Caminero. Who knows? But
yeah, possible. Well, it's the silly season. We're gonna have a lot of these movements. I don't know when the signings will start in earnest. It's funny, unlike football, where you kind of have this deadline, and you just 3 day or whatever, and then you have the free agent frenzy. It's just the opposite in baseball. No one wants to jump out and set the market. They all got time.
Well, because there's no cap,
right?
There's no salary cap, so it's not like every team has a finite resource to sign players. So it's a race to get those players in the NFL or hockey or basketball.
Sure.
In baseball, because there's no limit, there's no race for it. Right. Because I've got 20 million in cap space, let's say, whatever, in NFL, whatever, doesn't matter the sport. So I need to, here's the positions of need. Here's the guys I want. I got to go get them quick before they're gone.
Yeah, it's true.
Otherwise, what am I doing? The cap puts a urgency to it. Where baseball, I'm sure by the time we get to spring training, Scott Boras will be complaining that not enough players have been signed yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it happens every year that way. And the Rays don't even bother trying to sign anybody till spring training's 2 weeks old. Because that's when you get the deals.
That's when you get the deal.
Yep, and you see who's left at a cheap price.
Right.
Because you and I both agree that these new owners at this point are not going to increase the payroll dramatically.
I would submit to you that they're not going to increase it for sure. And although not significant, like everybody's going to go, oh my God, I'm not sure that it won't be reduced, at least initially.
It might be.
I know this, and I don't want to get in the weeds here a little bit because sometimes I know more than I want to say just because, I don't want to say it because I'm not writing the stories and frankly, I haven't talked to anybody. But just remember this. The market value of this team was said to be, and I don't know who comes up with this stuff, Forbes, somebody, Business Journal, I don't know, was said to be about $1.25 billion. And these guys paid $1.75 billion. That's a lot of money over value, if true, in either case. I just don't, it reminds me of when I bought my house, this current house that I'm in. I bit off way more than I could chew. I can make the mortgage payments for sure, but the place sat empty in a lot of rooms for quite a while because I was house poor, right? I'm feeling like these owners may be house poor, and they got a lot of things on their plate, including trying to build a ballpark or rebuild one.
I don't know if they're house poor, but they don't have the house yet.
They don't have a house yet.
They don't know what they're going to have to put in for that yet. I mean, they have an idea.
Yeah, I mean, they know if they got to buy, to kill an analogy, window coverings or, but yeah, there's certain things that they could do without for a while once they get in there and figure out what is working,
Right. But I mean, they don't know, are they at HCC? Are they, somewhere else? They don't know what the cost is going to be for the land and the build. Like, they don't know any of this yet. I mean, I'm sure they're starting to get an idea.
They're doing studies, yeah.
But, they also don't know what investment and, quite frankly, have no idea what the attendance is going to be like at a revamped Trop.
Oh, that's true.
Is it going to be what it's always been there? The other part of it is if, the Trop starts selling out, maybe perhaps they'll increase spending.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't care what you folks think about domes. I really don't anymore. The bottom line is that everybody went outside. When I say everybody, the Tampa Bay Rays and the organization, some of their fans, and it was not comfortable. Okay, it just wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the way the team was constructed for the outfield to have spacious, room out there to make plays and different things is like wasn't a friendly ballpark for them, and the record proved it. So, give me 75 degrees every time. Give me no rainouts anytime. I don't have to look. It's a farther drive, no question for me, and for everybody in Hillsborough. But man, I'm looking forward to the Trop.
The only thing I hate is that it's turf.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair.
That's the one thing I hate about the dome.
Yeah, that's fair. And maybe the sort of erector set rings are a little annoying too at times.
Well, I'm not saying the Trop. I'm saying just the dome in general because the new stadium's going to be a dome as well.
Yeah. You have to have. Although, and this is a thing in football that I think if I'm in the union, I'm pushing for right like yesterday, which is I don't care what you have to do, figure a way to what's similar to what the Cardinals have done or whatever the expense is. I don't care, but we need to have natural grass, and if we have to slide it outside when it's not being used, we need to find a mechanism to do that.
Well, and why stadiums like MetLife that is outdoors isn't grass is just mind-boggling to me.
It's a weak union, man. It's all I can understand is that the owners are telling them we're not going to do it because of cost, and you're saying but.
Meanwhile, World Cup games come to MetLife Stadium and they put grass in for them because they won't
play on it. Yeah. Exactly right. By the way, there was an exhibition between the USA and help me
Uruguay.
Yeah, Uruguay. Yeah, and man, I blinked. My wife was watching it because she's a USL person, and I blinked and they were up 4-1.
Like, wow, they won 5-1. So
yeah, no, they handled it. It was and it wasn't a sold out Raymond James, but
it was the same score as a Lightning game, 5-1.
5-1. That's right. Hey, my biggest complaint about soccer, and I'm the ugly American, is that so many 0-0 games or, extra time and there's no goals. And it's like, my father-in-law, you don't know soccer, you got to appreciate the skill, look at the pass, look at this, look at that. And yeah, I just want to see the ball go in the net, once or twice. But it was a good game and, USA prevailed. So I don't know if that's a sign of anything, but
I mean, a win is good. I mean, the team's got some issues and problems, and the World Cup they're hosting next summer. So
yeah,
wins are good, but they're not where I think Team USA wants to be at this point.
Do you know much about their coach? He looks like Russell Crowe.
He does a little bit, yeah.
To me, yeah.
I mean,
where's he from?
Europe somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah,
it's always interesting. You go get some other foreign national to coach your USA team.
Well, I mean,
we just haven't evolved to that World Cup level in coaching yet.
Well, they've had USA coaches in the past, but
yeah. But when you get the best and the rules allow you to, why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they seemed calm, controlled, and they basically dominated it from the beginning, which was kind of fun to see. We were kind of curiously watching it. We're not big soccer, but my wife being in it and knowing a couple of their players used to be in the USL and on the men's national team, and Sarah Walsh, our good friend, was doing the hosting for TNT that was broadcasted.
Yep.
Got to go out with Sarah and have a cocktail or two the other night and meet some of the people from TNT. It was cool. Good folks, really good folks. So the World Cup, man, it's going to be here quickly before you know it. But I was glad to see some goals. I thought that was fun. All right, so tomorrow, which is today as you hear this, the Buccaneers have another walkthrough practice, ladies and gentlemen. So we will know nothing about who is actually healthy or not, but we'll be glad to tell you in TampaBay.com who is at least expected to participate and whether they get some folks back. Talk to Baker Mayfield and about his growing family and then the open locker room. So we'll have more stories for you in the Tampa Bay Times and on TampaBay.com. Go see our friends Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. That's where you're going to get the beautiful watches, the Navitimers, the Chronomats, women's watches, their sports watches, very durable, beautiful, all that. But also check out the NFL watches, 32 different teams while supplies last. They're absolutely stunning. They're collector's items. You have to go see our friends at Breitling Boutique in International Plaza. Let them know, please, that you heard about it on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Thanks for listening, everybody. For Steve Versnick, I'm Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. Have a great day.